Okay, let's go live. This is James Maduke speaking. Today, what have I got for you? Well, it's been a little bit while. I had I don't know if it was a bit sick, but a little bit of a cold last week. So what I wanted to do is take a break, get healthy, and then we're back at it today. And what I've got today is I'm going to introduce something called CARE, which is a bit of an acronym or a program I put together, especially for people who are over 40, just brand new, struggling to kind of figure out their space, not only in YouTube, but also, building an education business, trying to find out what it's about, how I can fit in, where does it go? So the big question that I get from people, or that I run into from people, is this whole notion of how do I come up with my content? Where does my content come from? How do I, put it together? How do I do all this stuff? But the big thing is the content. And you hear all sorts of stuff online about content marketing and different kind of things that you should do to work on your content and all sorts of stuff. But if you just create some content, you're going to be financially independent in 12 minutes without having to do any work, just because you have some content. And here's the thing that I just want to tell you up front. This is about creating an education business with content, not about just creating content. So I'm going to go over these 4 things, and it's called CARE, C-A-R-E. I'm going to introduce you to all of those pieces, how they fit together. And I think the best thing about all of this, the very, very best thing is if you want to teach online, you want to build an education business, and the biggest value for you if you're just starting out is you can overcome this whole imposter syndrome thing where you're trying to figure out, or I don't feel that I'm experienced enough, or I don't feel that I'm professional enough, or I don't feel that I'm famous enough to be able to do that. So here's what normally happens. And if you're online now at any point in time, you may be looking at a Facebook ad, you may be on LinkedIn, you may see something on Twitter or Threads, Instagram, all of these social media ads, and it's a real popular topic about creating online courses. And the majority, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of them are what I think is a big problem, and that is creating AI slop. That's a huge problem. And people are talking about, how you can create a course in 12 minutes and 38 seconds just using 4 prompts with Claude or ChatGPT or any of the other tools. And it's a really popular trend right now. And they focus on creating content with AI. So all of the content is generated with AI. And it's stuff that you may not necessarily have lived, right? It's just content that was created. It may not have any of your experiences. And when you have that kind of content and you buy into this thing that you can create content with AI, turn it into a course and sell it, what often happens is that you have to really, really, really focus on marketing the content and creating the content, because it requires you to be a marketer, because everyone else has similar content that's actually been created. And the part that's tough about this is if you go to market it, it's about gaming the system. Like, what are the tricks that you can use, or kind of fancy things that you can do, the marketing trick of the week to get eyeballs on your courses, or putting it in different places, or doing thumbnails a certain way, or using titles a way, or naming your course a certain way. But it's always about kind of gaming the system and marketing it. And it requires, if you're not famous and already successful selling courses, you're just new, it's really, really, really hard to build a business with it. There's no long-term structure or topic with it. And you're focused to look at, how can I use search, or how can I be found, or what are these organic things that I can use? And the purpose of the content is not necessarily to teach anything to anyone. It's just to see if I can sell some courses. So here's the next part that I want you to kind of think about. And again, I have all of this in the trainingsites.io community, and also courses on this as well. And if you just want help doing it, there's some links below. And let me just go, and I think I got this one here. Yeah, trainingsites.io, just below. You can go and spend a little bit of time with that one and ask some questions there. I'd love to be able to help you out. So here's the first one. We've got all this AI slop around. You may have run into it. People have been talking to you about it. So here's the first one I want you to think of. And this is about curation. So C is for curation. And what I'm talking about is capturing your digital exhaust. Because every time you do something online, you have this digital exhaust that follows you. Now, I think the term digital exhaust actually came from the security industries when they were talking about cybersecurity and, where's your login details, where's your username and password, where's your profile, that kind of thing. I'm not talking about that digital exhaust. What I'm talking about is the digital exhaust that happens while you're doing your work online. I don't know many people who don't spend some time online. As an example, for me doing this today, I had to I used a mind map, put together all the structure that's here. And in fact, I'll just show it to you right now. This is the one that I actually created for this little bit of a talk right here. So, this one is something that I did. Online, I did. The other thing that was involved with today, just as a simple example, is I actually did Canva. So I had a thumbnail in Canva. I used ChatGPT to help me create a list of possible titles to look at. So there was things that I did during this process that is digital exhaust. It's not the cybersecurity stuff. It's my work product. It's all of the things that happened while I was getting ready to do that. And if you are doing anything during the day, being able to really capture that is a powerful, powerful thing. So this is this trail of data, and it's everything that goes into all of the work that you've been doing and all of the interactions that you have, whether it be with social media, your computer, the tools that you do, the emails that you send, everything that is going out, every interaction that you have with people. So you have to capture that. And then the next thing is you want to think about, how can I curate that material? How can I extract important or valuable pieces about the work product that I have and my personal experience? It's not someone else's experience, it's stuff that I did just during my regular work day or social day or craft day or anything that you're doing. It's about capturing and curating and organizing that bit of content that you have. And the best part is this is all about your personal experience. And the personality of the content is entirely dependent on the actions or the way that I curate the digital exhaust. This way the content is always new, it's always improving, and it always has a feedback loop, because you generally don't do things the exact same way. You always personally, you may get into a habit, but you're always looking for, how can I do this faster? How can I do this better? I learned something new, how do I apply it and put it in? So that is you personally interacting with stuff and capturing it. And it doesn't require you to basically have to create AI slop, because you're actually living it, which is a powerful tool. So that C is all about capturing and curating your digital exhaust. So that's where the C actually comes from, that whole kind of space of, anything that happens during the day. So what's next? What comes after capturing and curating? Well, the other one thing is A is for answers. And what are answers about? What you're going to be able to do is, at the point where you are having this content curated and put together, you're going to be in a spot where you can organize and have questions that you continually answer and have to answer. So this is a let me just open this up here. I'm going to open another piece here. Your ability to answer questions and know the questions that people run into on a regular period, that's the part that I think is really exciting. And my teleprompter just froze here, which is the worst thing that could possibly happen, but it did. I'm going to go back here and we'll try and find my map, because I'm just going to go from the map instead of my teleprompter. So let's see what we got here. My apologies. This is one of the ones when you're doing these videos and you're thinking about, oh, how's this going to work for me? Or what are the steps that I want to follow? I have them on the map and I put them on my teleprompter, and now they've actually disappeared. So I want to make sure I can open up my map and have it as something that I can work from as I'm doing this. That's not the one. And these are all the ones when you go on the fly. What have I got here? There we go. There's my map here. So we're back with the map. And here's my map actually that we went through. You can see it capture curated my notes here. What's the next one? A is for answers. What are the answers about? Well, when you're creating answers for people, the content that you're creating is just to do that, to answer specific questions. And they're questions about the stuff that you've curated. Now, the great part about doing these answers is you can use AI. I'm not saying don't use AI, but you can use AI at this point to enhance your answer, to clarify and expand on your answers to the questions about the content that you've curated and captured. And not only that, being able to come up with the questions and the challenges that your audience or potential learners have, that's another thing that you can use AI tools for. And when you're answering a specific question, it doesn't have to be huge. What you're doing at this point is you're giving one title, one promise, one specific answer to one specific question. So you're only working at answering the questions about something that you're already doing. And this is best fitted for YouTube, right? When you take a look at a YouTube video, you're going to usually have some kind of topic that is about or has a particular and specific answer. And if you can focus on that one and tell a personal story about how you came up with the answer, how you captured and how you curated it, you're in a position to create what really is a how-to tutorial. And I've talked about this in other videos about the whole thing on YouTube, I think, is not necessarily about entertaining anymore and worrying about the video editing and all of that fancy stuff. It's like one-take videos. How do I answer a question? How do I do it from my personal experience? And more importantly, how do I tell my personal story on how I did this and how I came up with this? And at the end of the day, you're not worried about search necessarily. You're worried about the suggested videos and where you fit into after search. The great part is when you're doing these how-to videos and you look at just how am I going to answer questions, we're not talking about courses yet. We're just talking about answering questions. When you do that, when you're in that space, the part is you don't have to be the one that is already successful in a competitive market. You just have to be showing up as the suggested videos around the main searches. It's not about gaming the system. It's not about making sure that you follow a trend or you're answering questions that are the important ones right now. These ones are just about how can I show up as a suggested video in the topic that I'm interested in with my answers to specific questions that are related and add depth to a particular video that might have been done that is only the surface and gives not a lot of depth or not a lot of detailed answers about the questions that you can answer from your personal experience. So you've got C for capture and curate. We've got A for answers. What's the next one? Results. Now, when you're talking about results, this is when we get into courses. Now, how does this actually work? How do we put this all together? When I've talked about, how-to videos, mini courses and micro courses, when you are in or you're talking about a result, what you've done is you've captured answers and you've put them into some kind of process or sequence that you've curated and captured to explain how you go from A to B. So this is just putting together these pieces or answers and organizing them in a specific result. And your ability to pick a couple of answers that go with a result, whether that be how to use a particular tool, how to use one part of a particular software, how to do one particular skill that's part of a bigger skill, how to use one little piece, how to apply one little piece. This is about your big fat claim when you're marketing it. You can say, if you do this, you're going to get this. It's all about the result. The course is about the result, and when you're marketing it and talking to people, you have a result that is something that you can promote, not just the answer that people can search and find on YouTube, but you're able to market to your potential learners who already know, because you've provided answers, that if they follow a process that you have, they're going to get a specific result. And this is all about teaching at this point, right? You're showing your personal experience on how you have answered these questions and applied them to your unique situation. You're not an imposter. You're not faking it. It's not AI slop. It's stuff that you've actually created and you've actually done. So I talk about a hub and a spoke model. I've talked about how I kind of create that big hub or that topic, that main part of your business. These little results promoted or results mini courses or micro courses are just the spokes on your hub. And here's where the hub comes in, and that is the E. So we've got C is capture and curate. We've got A is for answers, R is for the result, or putting the sequence of answers together in a process in a small mini course or micro course that has a number of lessons that are just the answers put together about the process that you apply. And then the next one is E, and that is about a learning experience. And this is where I get into the parts about making sure that you have a campus and community and cohorts and all of the things around. How do you have engagement with the people that you're actually trying to teach and help? And that experience about learning with you as the teacher is, again, where you can not only share your experience hands-on, but it gets customized to the people that are actually learning. This is that whole idea of having blended learning, right? Where you have things like discussions and community forums and live workshops and coaching sessions for groups or cohorts with a start and an end to a course. These can be gamified so that you give people actions, activities, assignments, assessments. So you're not only guiding them through that particular process, but what you're doing is you're guiding them through their unique situation. Because at the end of the day, a course is almost never enough when you are trying to provide a result that is unique to the person that's learning it. You get into things like having a learning track, communities, and sharing for the other people on how they did things. And this builds out a whole system of where you can provide an experience for people based on your experience. So what I want you to do, your quick little assignment here, is kind of start capturing your digital exhaust. If you are going to create a video, for example, if you are going to answer an email, if you have a support ticket that comes up, if you have a particular tool or something you have to use during the day, if you are doing something that has anything where you're trying to be, or you have an idea on something that you might want to be able to share, just capture it, record it. You're not doing any fancy editing or anything like that. You're just recording what you already do. And write down, make a little bit of a mind map of stuff that actually happens. That's all I do right here, is I take a look at this and I'm just talking about, well, what are the things that I'm doing? I work at capturing and curating, and in fact, what I did with this is just captured and curated what I'm already doing every time I create a YouTube video. So if you want to have an online business that is about education and teaching online, I think this is a huge opportunity to just follow this care model and get started. So capture and start curating your content. And I think a great way to do that is with a mind map. If you're already there, think about, great, how can I answer questions and what are the specific questions that people have? And use the AI tools like Perplexity and ChatGPT and Claude to find out what the challenges are that your learners do, but also write down the questions that you have. And then make or use that curated content to answer those particular questions. And after that, say, hey, I got a whole bunch of answers. How can I put that together in a mini course or micro course? And once you've got a couple of those put together, you're in a position where you're going to be able to have an education business and have a community of people that you're going to be able to help that are doing the same thing, have the same questions, you're giving them the same answers, and teaching them the process and processes to help them grow online. So I hope you enjoyed this session. Like and subscribe to the channel. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io, and Teach Online is basically the community that we're putting together, but more importantly, we're putting all of the answers and stuff that we're curating and I'm curating and capturing during all of the time that I enjoy teaching with you. So hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the comments below. And again, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care and expect the best.